let's face it. If you've been wanting to learn how to draw faces or just get better at it, it won't happen overnight, no. But it will happen over the next 7 days if you follow this episode of YouTube Art School, along with the daily exercises and the study plan that I've carefully put together just for you. The result of my 12 years of teaching, all condensed into a 10-minute YouTube video that I should definitely start charging money for. Oh, yikes, no time. Quickly, class is starting. All right, class is in session. Pay attention. We're going right into it with the first day of our 7-day challenge to learn to draw faces, or just to get significantly better at it if you're not starting from scratch. The first day is going to be super chill to ease you into it. It's test day, but no worries, I wasn't lying. It's only meant to take note of your current level. So using only your imagination, take 30 minutes to 1 hour to draw a face as best as you can within that time. Just lines, no shading or anything. If you're participating, your drawing is probably not going to be great that time around, which is probably why you're watching this, and that's all good. But it's an important first step. So I guarantee you'll do far better by the end of the week, so you'll want something to compare against. And that's it. That's day 1. Moving on to day 2. It's time to actually learn to draw the head. What I teach in my art program is an adapted version of the Loomis method, so I'll show you the quick version here. To learn proportions, it's easier to draw a face from the front, so let's do that here. Every head will start with a circle, or a sphere I should say. We'll cut the diameter in 3 equal parts and slide that line down until it overlaps the edge of the circle. That's how you'll find the length of the jaw. From there, we can draw a rounded V shape to get the outline of the head. The eyebrows conveniently line up with the line we drew, the nose as well, and the mouth is just halfway between the nose and the chin line. The eyes, of course, go right below the eyebrows, and the ears will also use the same guidelines and fit between the eyebrows and the nose lines. We can add a neck, and that's the quick version. And don't worry about the facial features just yet. Just practice this until you've memorized kind of those proportions, or at a minimum like 3 to 6 attempts. And I'll add an optional double bonus here if you have the time. The more repetitions, the better. And before we move on to day 3, I have a class that I'll link down below that goes over the head construction in a bit more details. Or if this is going on way too fast and you're looking for a proper long format class on the topic, check out my full art education program with the link in the video description as well. It covers all the fundamentals: perspective, anatomy, character design, environment design, animal, creature drawings, color theory, and a lot more. And instead of a 7-day study guide, the program comes with one that's well over a year long, guiding you week by week to offer that extra structure to your art studies. It's a university level course for less than the price of a cheap pen display tablet, especially right now with the summer sale running until the end of the month only. I don't want you to miss out on this crazy deal, so check it out with the link down below. Plug over. Moving on to day 3. Hopefully by now, the head construction is less of a mystery, and you should be able to get a lot more out of copying other artists that you like, which is exactly what you'll be doing. So find some references from an artist that you like and copy the head only, without fully drawing the facial features from 3 different angles: front, profile, and 3/4 angle. It's best if your 3 references are all from the same artist. Basically, you know, what you would hope to be able to do yourself eventually. An artist whose style you like, obviously. For the face, you can just leave quick indications of where all the facial features are going to go, but keep your appetite for the next day. The focus is on the head shape only today. Once again, you can do double that for best results. And it's important to say that when it comes to the style of the artist that you're using as reference, it's entirely possible the proportions they chose won't match exactly what we learned from the Loomis method on day 2, and that's okay. I would compare the 2 and note the main differences, how the style deviates from the ideal head, or like, you know, the realistic head drawn using the Loomis method, and why you might prefer that better. Maybe the eyes are larger, you know, stronger features, blockier shapes, whatever it is. When you understand those differences and what they're built on, it's way easier to replicate. Now it's day 4, and we'll be continuing from where we left off on day 3. Grab the same faceless heads that you drew, and this time we'll be adding the facial features. Once again, using those same references you used on day 3. Hopefully, you've been thinking about it since yesterday. You know, you felt a bit weird maybe to have a head drawing unfinished without a face. So what you'll be observing today should stick a lot more as a result. So do observe how the artist simplifies the eyes, the eyebrows, the nose, the mouth, and While you're at it, maybe look up a few other artists that you like to compare how they draw those same features. Also compare with real photos, real people. How is the drawing version different? And if drawing the whole face at once is hard, just practice drawing a few eyes by themselves using your references first, a few noses, etc. and then move on to adding them to the head drawings that you have. I have another popular class that might help you draw stylized facial features, so I'll link that down below if you want to check that out later too. And then for day 5, and we're almost done, it's practice set day. This time you'll be redrawing the head along with its facial features, just like you did on day 3 and 4, but try doing it from memory this time, relying on the proportions that you know from the Loomis method to construct the head so you're not completely lost facing a blank canvas. Depending on your experiences, that's either going to be super hard or kinda hard. So at any point, if you're uncertain, take a quick peek at your references, but try to only do that when you're really unsure, not for the whole thing. It's when we try to recall new information that it really gets more firmly engraved in our long-term memory, so you can eventually do it without the references later. You just have to make that effort to reap that reward. Now, granted, day 5 is a bit more work than the previous days, but you should be picking up a little bit of speed now to help offset that to some extent. All right, the final day of practice will be day 6, so it's time to go all out. In most ways, day 6 will be identical to day 5, so you'll be redrawing the same heads from memory as best you can, hopefully having to peek at your reference a bit less often this time. But the twist will be that you'll be drawing the facial features slightly differently this time around. Make only minor changes though, nothing too drastic, like a nose shaped slightly differently, eyes with differently sized irises maybe, looking in a different direction, a different curve for the mouth, maybe going from a smile to a sad face, frowning eyebrows, stuff like that. Just enough that the character looks like the same character, but different. And here too, the more repetitions the better, so if you're up for it, try doing twice as much. Now finally, the last day, day 7. This time around, you'll get to see just how much you improved in the last couple of days, because you'll be redrawing the same face you did on day 1, but using all the new knowledge that you observed and learned over the last couple of days. Hopefully by now you should be noticing a couple of things that seem off to you from that initial drawing, right? Your eye for faces should have leveled up quite a bit, especially if you did the bonuses. So do your best, and I'm certain that you'll be pleasantly surprised by your progress in such a short amount of time. And if you do take this short study guide seriously and actually go through it, I'd love for you to tag me on social media with the before and the after. Maybe I'll feature the ones displaying the most growth. And that's gonna be it for this week's class. If you decide to level up your face drawing game using this 7-day schedule, I hope you'll have as much fun doing it as it was to put together. And as usual, if this was helpful to you in any way, do let me know in the comments and share this with a bro. Also, make sure you pay the class fee of either 1 like or 1 sub, because if you do, you'll be able to legally get my custom brush pack for free with the link in the video description. It's a small selection of my favorite brushes that I use all the time. It's a very epic deal. Alright, maybe by the time I upload next week's video, you'll be able to draw some awesome faces. Now get to it!